So here's a brief definition of what boundaries are. They are those invisible lines that define what is acceptable and unacceptable in how others treat us and how you treat yourself. So they're not really walls to shut people out, but they are healthy fences that protect our time and energy, emotions, and values. So it's also part of being self-aware of the kind of person that we are. And there's also a part of self-respect included in there. So why do boundaries matter? So we can have two types of boundaries. Boundaries can either be healthy or unhealthy. Healthy boundaries give us peace of mind. They help us to realize our self-respect. They also help us to balance our relationships, whether it's with family, friends, and even romantic relationships. And boundaries help us to be free. They give us freedom to be ourselves, because then people get to understand the kind of person that we are. Having boundaries tells people the person that we are and how we'd like them to talk to us, to treat us. They even learn how to work with us. But an unhealthy boundary, this means when you don't have boundaries and you let someone through like 100%, you end up feeling guilty that you let that someone cross that line, or you end up resenting that person. And it also leads to mental exhaustion, because now you start overthinking on why you let this person do this to you, why you let this happen, and also includes emotional chaos. So there's just two variants of what boundaries can feel and look like. It can either be healthy or unhealthy. So the purpose of this webinar is to teach us how to encompass healthy boundaries within our lives so that we can become better and develop our inner power. Okay, so there are 5 types of boundaries. I've classified them as emotional, physical, digital, work, and material. We'll just briefly talk about all the 5 in the next slides. So what are emotional boundaries? Emotional boundaries are those boundaries that help to protect our feelings and our emotional well-being. So it's all about saying no. Saying no to someone who's always emotionally dumping on you. They always vent about you. They're always saying negative things about you. There's only a point to where you can actually accept someone's negative remarks and negative feedback. And also recognizing that you have to keep limits. You either have to distance yourself from those kind of people, and don't take it personally when someone comes to you in a negative manner. It's all about listening to them, but don't take it in. There's a balance in between. Don't take it too personally. Just have a boundary within yourself and say, this person is too negative. I don't need to be involved with them. I don't need to engage with them. I'll just start distancing myself from them for my emotional bubble. Okay. Then when it gets physical, this is where we define boundaries in terms of touch, physical touch, privacy. There are those people who are so aggressive when it comes to greetings. Some of them can go overboard. They always want to hug. And so, okay, I like hugging, but most people don't really like hugging that much. So there's a distance and there's a kind of professionalism, or there's a way you handle yourself when you're around new people, getting to know people, giving them the space that they need as well. So in the same manner, you also find that you need the space, you need to be relaxed. And when someone comes too close to you, you start feeling so nervous. So there's that boundary. How many feet can you be apart from someone and not feel uncomfortable with that kind of closeness or that kind of touch? You know? Then we go to digital boundaries. This is all about, I'd say, social media, emails, pop-ups, all those kinds of technology gadgets that we use and online interactions that we have with one another. It's important to choose when and how to respond to messages, notifications, and to actually avoid doom scrolling. And I think you guys are doing a good job by first joining the masterclass. I hope none of you are just scrolling through your TikToks at this time. So there's also the part of privacy in terms of not sharing your passwords or personal content. So when you're on social media, you have to have those personal boundaries. I know there are those celebrities and social media influencers who are really showcasing their lives out there, but that is their professional life and they know how to handle it. So most of them probably have social media managers who are helping them do that. But for some of us, or most of us who are not into the influencing industry and all that, there are those is that personal space that you give to yourself that you wouldn't want everyone else to know about. So there's that comfort in knowing that I have my own life and there's the life that I have on social media. There are things that I can post on social media that will affect me, and there are things that I can freely post without feeling guilty or resent myself afterwards for doing it. For example, say a person who's been fired from work and they start venting about whatever happened at work versus someone who says, I really appreciate the time that I had while at work at this place. So there's a difference in how you manage, how you vent, how you showcase your life out there on social media. There's also email etiquette in terms of how you send emails or communicate with either your colleagues or friends if you're emailing them. So those are some of the short courses that maybe you can look into when you want to go into digital interactions and emails. Yeah? Then we have work. We have work. Yeah. So, they said Mondays are the most days where people get heart attacks because everyone is dreading to go to work on Monday. So I think it's basically because most people who have those kind of heart attacks and medical situations don't have that kind of work balance and don't have the boundaries that they need to lay down in their workplaces. So in defining this, it relates to the time, the workload, and the expectations we either have at our workplaces or at school or our learning institutions. So you have to put a boundary as to how far can I go? Am I able to tell my superior or my boss that, hey, I know you really needed this to be done on such short notice, but I'll get back to you by tomorrow or within a week? Are you able to say that? Because that is what setting a boundary is all about. So how soon should you reply to work emails? Is it after 72 hours? Is it after 24 hours? That is up to you. Are you on vacation? Have you sent out an email telling people not to really rely on instant feedback when you're on vacation? So those are some of the things that help you set boundaries. And when you communicate to people in that way, they will not be bothering you or they will not be pressuring you to deliver with so much pressure that you cannot deliver to your utmost best. Yeah. Then we have material boundaries. This is all about money, clothes, your car, your gadgets, your books, and even at your home. So this means there are those people always borrowing you money, asking for money every month, every week. There are those people who like to share your clothes, like sisters and brothers. Okay, I think sisters, we do that so much. Those people who borrow our cars and they don't fuel them. It's actually courteous to borrow a car and then return it with a full tank if you really want to keep the rapport. Sharing of gadgets. People are so particular with their phones. And books, I think this is applying to textbooks or resources that you use, whether in learning institutions or even at home when we have relatives who come home and stay forever. So how do we tell this person, hey, pause, pause? Or how do you tell them, hey, you borrowed me money so many times, I just can't do it this time round. You need to know how to communicate this, because at the end of the day, it's all going to come back to you, and it might have negative repercussions on your, say, your monthly budget, or how you've been planning to use say, your car. If you had planned to give this person the car for 24 hours and they took a whole week, those kind of boundaries. So you have to be very clear on timelines, on how you want them to handle the property that you have, and those kind of things.